If your business is only growing when the market does, that's less of a business and more of a hobby. The best agents in the game are planning 2026 today. And in this video, I'm gonna give you 7 ideas to apply when you feel the motivation waning. And stay tuned for number 7, because it's definitely my favorite. As we approach the end of the year, it's normal to feel more exhausted and less motivated, but despite being self-employed, it's really important for us to show up from 9 to 5. While I understand not all of that time can be used doing very productive things, there are so many different ideas we can apply to the end of the year so that you can determine how you want to spend your time in 2026. With that, idea number 1 is revisiting platforms you abandoned. For example, Zillow reviews. When I began in this industry 8 years ago, I was told to focus exclusively on Google reviews because Zillow was the enemy. The reality is, at this point in time, the consumer relies on what Zillow says, and on top of that, AI is scanning the internet for reviews about us to give to people looking for real estate agents. So one thing that you can do in this quarter is go to Google or go to Yelp or whatever platform your reviews are currently living. Find a review that you like from a client, take a screenshot of that review, and then reach out to the client and say something like, "Hey, I'm really trying to increase my presence on Zillow. The review you left me on Google was beautiful. Would you mind taking the review that I just sent back to you and posting it on Zillow for me?" It gives you an awesome reason to check in with a past client, and it makes it very easy for them to take what they've already said about you and post it on Zillow. Idea number 2 is to test what content you enjoy making, not just what performs. Let me explain. Everybody wants to begin creating content for social media and show up consistently. The most important thing for a page to grow is to show up regularly, but the struggle with that is if you have committed to a type of content or multiple types of content that do not resonate with you, that you do not like, it will be very difficult for you to show up consistently. So I encourage you to test what you might enjoy creating in 2025 so that you can hit the ground running in 2026. For example, do you enjoy making hyperlocal content? Could you go out and preview a restaurant once a week and see if that's something you could add to your schedule? How about previewing homes and filming house tours? Could you film some house tours today so that you could determine, is that the right approach for 2026? How about educational content? Perhaps it's personal content. Use these last 3 months of the year to see what you like making, what you enjoy making, and what you can do consistently. Because if you can't do it regularly, there's no reason to start it. Idea number 3 is to audit where your business actually comes from. Look at every closed transaction that you've had this year and count the number of sellers, count the number of buyers you represented. Take it one step further and average out what your average compensation is when you represent a seller. And then do the same thing on the buy side. Add up all the compensation you've made, divide it by that number of transactions, and get the average of what you make representing a buyer. And finally, take every transaction that you've closed this year and determine, where did that lead come from? Once you can figure out how much you are making per transaction and where those transactions are coming from, you can double down, triple down, quadruple down on those lead sources and cut out the rest, because it only takes adapting a few things by 1% to generally see huge results and trim away the fat that has been bogging you down. Idea number 4 is to reevaluate your brand photos and bio. In the age of everybody going to AI to look for recommendations, it is important for your bios and descriptions to be consistent across platforms. So when you feel the motivation wavering at 3:30 p.m., but you know it's a little bit too early to come home to your wife, instead go to your LinkedIn bio, go to your Google bio, go to your Zillow bio, and make sure that they are all consistent, that the photos are consistent, because the more consistency that we have online, the higher the likelihood of ChatGPT, Gronk, and all the other AI platforms to recommend you. Idea number 5 is to plan a memorable event for early 2026. The momentum doesn't begin in January, it starts at the end of the year, and to begin 2026 with a memorable client event is a wonderful way to start with some energy. So perhaps, do you do something around Valentine's Day? Do you do something in January celebrating the new year and new goals? Perhaps you do something in your office and invite everybody in to create a a vision board. There are a handful of things that can be applied to the beginning of the year, and that's the kind of motivation you want to start with. Idea number 6 is to create one long form asset that can be chopped up all year into multiple short form pieces. This is a sleeper idea, but this is something that could save you so much time down the road and the ultimate repurpose hack. The concept behind this is to spend some time this year filming, for example, the ultimate 2026 buyer handbook, or alternatively, the ultimate Orange County home selling guide for 2026. Whatever it is, spend some time creating a strong title and a beautiful piece of work that could perhaps be 3 to 7 minutes long, giving you enough substance to chop up into 30 or 60-second pieces that could be applied to a robust content calendar. This is definitely one of my favorites on the list, but number 7 is hands down something you don't want to miss. Another thing that I love about this long form piece of content being repurposed into short form is how it can be applied as a lead magnet. If you are creating an asset that then you are making content about, it allows you to spend time with a beautiful magnet that you can repurpose all year long. This is definitely one of my favorites on the list. And finally, idea number 7, plan out your perfect week now and test it out. What I mean by that is life will constantly throw us distractions and obstacles and disrupt what we planned on doing. But if we intend on creating the ideal business for ourselves, it begins with the ideal schedule. So take some time for yourself to look at how you best spend the hours of your day. Should you be making calls in the morning, or alternatively, does social media marketing suck the life force out of you and should be done first thing when you wake up? Do you hate knocking on doors, and is that something you should do before lunch? Or do you need to eat something before you're pounding the streets? Look at the way you want to spend your time in the perfect world. Do that today so that next year you hit the ground running. If you found this video helpful, make sure to share this article with someone you know, and if you are looking for more tips and resources just like this, check out our school community online.